All right, guys. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is 9 a.m. on a Monday, July 8th, 2024. Glad to be with you this morning and every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. I'm still trying to get to 10,000 subs. I don't know what more I could do on the YouTube channel. I guess I'm not that entertaining to get to those crazy Mr. Beast numbers, obviously. The man's giving out Teslas like candy. Not there yet, obviously, but I guess stock market talk isn't exactly the most appealing to everybody, which is fair. But to those who listen and watch every day and doing their thing, I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Even if it's just one viewer, it's worth it. It's worth it to give this information. It's fun to do. All right, back to it. So Dow futures are up 83 points. Nasdaq's up 7 points. S&P up 5 points, and the Russell's up 0.75%. Hello. Nasdaq and S&P are set up to be opening at a new all-time high. Stop me if you haven't heard that already. 4.278% on a 10-year Treasury yield. The dollar is down. Thank you. 104.81. VIX is up 1.12%, up 12.62 at 12.62. Excuse me. Crude oil is down 0.70%, 82.58. $2.54 for gasoline futures. That's down. Gold futures are down as well. Silver futures are down as well. Remember, the dollar is down, so that's really interesting. Copper down. So commodities, at least on the gold and silver front, are kind of showing us a little bit more risk on. This is going to be a good thing for stocks. If gold was up, usually it's kind of a risk off. Something's wrong. But as of right now, with stocks being higher, small caps, again, that's higher beta. Been seeing silver and gold down. That's interesting. That's interesting to me. Interesting that oil is down and yet Russell is up. So that's probably the semiconductor chips out there, semiconductor stocks. Excuse me. Euro dollar. We just had the French election. The left wing, I guess, was a surprise, a shock to everybody. Word was that was going to bring down the euro. Looks like it hasn't. 108.44, pretty flat. Same thing with the pound dollar when they had their elections. Again, I hear this all the time about elections. Does this matter? Guys, it's July. There's an election in November. Polls do not win elections. Voters do. Remember that. So a lot of people can be wrong. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. All I can focus on is what's in front of me. What's more important to the market is not the election. Would be the Federal Reserve in September if they actually cut. We have CPI on Wednesday. I'm going to go over the calendar here in a second. So again, going back to the Forex side, dollar yen 160.68, that's off the highs. 67.48 for the Aussie dollar, pound dollar 128.37, that's up. Bitcoin bouncing. Talked about that yesterday on the video, weekly recap. If you want to take a look at that video, that's on our channel. The one thing I kind of screwed up on the video was that it didn't show the Discord. I was kind of talking and not showing it. I use StreamYard for my streaming, and I forgot to put not just the screen on TOS. I should have been my whole screen, and then they wouldn't show the different windows. Doesn't matter, but you're seeing it now. Here's the earnings calendar. Let's pivot now to the actual Discord, the Discord channel. Hello. Here's the week we have. Monday, no real news that's coming out as of yet. We do have earnings starting this week. We're going to go over that here in a second. Powell's going to testify on Tuesday in front of the House. I think he talks to the House first, and then he goes to the Senate. So the House, I would say the House Banking Committee, that's usually who he speaks to. Treasury Secretary Yellen's going to speak. I assume that's going to be at the same time in terms of they're going to be together. Fed Chair Powell testifying in front of the Senate, I assume, at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. 10-year bond auction. It's going to be important, obviously. We want to see if there's still demand for government bonds. I assume that they will be, especially if we're expecting a rate cut in September, which looks like it's kind of baked in at this point. All this move, guys, first 2 weeks of July, we've been saying it, seasonally strong. That's great. So, again, the first 2 weeks are not done. We have one more week, so let's just take advantage. The 10-year bond auction, in my opinion, would be strong, just for the fact that maybe the possibility of interest rates coming in September. Again, I don't know if we're going to get any confirmation of that at the next FOMC. Maybe Fed Chair Powell speaks about it on Tuesday or Wednesday. Again, election year, we know the drill. They're going to cut rates. Let's be real. We're just waiting for the day. CPI, again, knowing what we know they're going to cut rates. I mean, Powell said in December. So CPI really hasn't been a big deal since then. Yes, we can trade around it, sure, but it's not as important as it was in 2022 and 2023. Markets have moved on. So yes, CPI one day, I don't know when, will be below 2%, and that will confirm the Fed's mandate, quote unquote. but we're going to cut rates in September. Again, that's my expectation. That's the market's expectation. So CPI at this point, again, as long as we don't get a horrific print, which I don't expect, we should be okay. If you guys remember, the last core PCE number we had was a beat. So maybe we just keep continuing that same song and dance. PPI is on Friday. That's Producer Price Index. Got a 30-year bond auction on Thursday. I'm sorry as well. I forgot to mention that. Unemployment claims, that's every Thursday. University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. Guys, these are surveys. Do they move markets? Sometimes. Depends. As long as we don't have anything that's a major deviation from expectations in terms of bad, then I think we're going to be fine. In terms of the week this itself, it's not a short week. Last week we had a short week due to July 4th holiday. So at least we got that out of the way. Hope everyone was rested. Thursday, July 11th and Friday, July 12th, according to the Stock Market Almanac, are bullish days. Last week we had 3 bullish days in terms of the almanac. That was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So far, so good. Here's the earnings coming up. Manchester United reports earnings on Wednesday. I'm a Manchester United fan. I don't own the stock because I don't want that much pain. Yeah, we're going to skip that. Delta reports on Thursday. I talked about that chart on our video this week. Talked about Citi as well. Wells Fargo reports and JPM also reports on Friday. PepsiCo is not something we really trade. So just kind of focusing on what we work on or what we focus on. Okay. So there we go. Let's go ahead and go to the questions and answer segment. William says, good morning, Carlos. Good morning. Jinjo Ninja says, good morning, Gar. Ready for another week. Cheers. Good morning. See more upside for Amazon, currently holding the September 2200 calls. Well, you're 30 cents away from in the money. You were in the money on Friday close. So I do expect Amazon to move higher. So yes, I would hold those. You're going to be in the money very soon. The highs are $200.55. I have the 210 calls personally. So yes, I expect Amazon to move higher and more upside. Can we talk Palantir? Yes, we can. Palantir is up this morning, and what we're looking for, what I wanted, was 2750. Masterclass is in a UOA. Well, we did the UOA, but Masterclass is also in Palantir. So we'll scroll down again. This chart or this Discord was not shown yesterday. And again, that's my bad. I sent this Friday, 10 a.m. Palantir UOA, September 2031 calls. I'm in those with Masterclass. Again, not quite overbought as of yet. That might change today since we're way above 2750 now. That was kind of the level. So if we want to kind of take a look at the volume, again, it's a breakout. It's what it is. We know what we're looking for. There is a gap to fill on the weekly candle chart past 4 years, 3 years. 3132 is our gap fill. That's what we're looking for. I do expect Palantir to move higher. Absolutely. AMD faked me out a couple weeks ago. So we're finally above 174.62. What we want is to stay above 175. The last time I traded AMD thinking it was a breakout was May 28th. Yep, I want to drink bleach because that thing pulled back. So let's just be careful. Again, AMD is exciting. Don't get me wrong. We want to close above 175. The day needs to close above 175. So AMD, I am not trading that today because last time I traded without waiting was Nike, and Nike pulled back. So AMD, I like it. Wait for 175. It needs to close. The day needs to close 4 p.m. above 175. And then I'll feel better. I don't want any kind of reversals, man. This is what happened last time we were above the 100-day. We rejected it immediately. And not happening. No, absolutely not. I don't think my heart can handle that again. Apple's an absolute monster. Now we're talking about golden Fibonacci extensions, 246.61. If you are looking for the next target in terms of price, that's probably it. The problem is, again, things get overheated and now you're overbought. Again, as much as I like Apple, every time we get to these overbought levels, we get some kind of a pullback, guys. It doesn't mean it doesn't go higher later. It's just naturally get some kind of pullback. So again, let's not give premiums away. Let's wait for that pullback. Again, first 2 weeks of July are very bullish. The weeks after it gets a little choppy. So we'll get an opportunity on Apple. I just don't see ourselves getting into this again, even though we were trading the 220s way before. And Lord, did that thing go higher. Talked about AMD, IWM upside continuation. It's overbought on the 1 hour. It's just chop. That's it. If you like this kind of spaghetti chart here, there's not much to do on IWM. If IWM gets above 210, we could talk. Above 204, maybe, but nah, not much there. I'm sorry. Yes, we talked about Mara on the watch list, and for the fact that I expect Bitcoin to bounce, and Mara is probably the better vehicle to do so. So above 2084, we're about 30 cents away. I'll target the 21s, 22s, or 23s. 2304 being the next resistance. So just like this trend line here for a break, I expect Bitcoin to be bought up. I think we get above 60K again, really by the end of, let's say, July. The only thing about Bitcoin is in terms of the seasonality from June, I think it was July through September. It's pretty weak. So again, we'll get some kind of reflex bounce. Fine. Maybe we'll tag 60K and then we'll pull back. But I don't expect much from Bitcoin really till the fourth quarter of the year. Really, when rate cuts start getting in. Again, let's assume that September gets the rate cuts. That's right at the end of the seasonality weakness of Bitcoin. Guess where that's going? So really just preparing, and we're waiting for the opportunity when interest rates go lower and the Fed actually decides to cut. We're going to look at Bitcoin and crypto again and see if we take advantage. Again, we've taken advantage of Mara all last year, the beginning of the first quarter of this year. So I like Mara. I have no problem with it. The only thing is BITO has been decent, but it doesn't have the volume Mara does. So I think BITO is going to be left on the wayside. Mara does have obviously its own risks. They are a company, they have earnings, they dilute shares possibly. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. BITO doesn't have that problem, but the volume just isn't there. So best bet is probably stick with Mara. Again, above 2084, we can take a look at looking at some calls. Let's get DAL. Yeah, I talked about that yesterday. And if we can get above below 4502, excuse me, below 4502, there's 4240 right at the 200 day. That would be my target. It's below the 100 day, so we got to see if DAL Delta Airlines gets above 4742. If they were reporting this week, I mean they are reporting this week. I'm going to lean bearish here. I think it gets down to 4240. Again, this is going to be a higher risk one because of the earnings risk. So let's look for down the line options if we're willing to trade it. Maybe something in September. Crossing my fingers with some really good volume. But again, I'm going to hope for the best. Let's just see what we get. Hello, NVIDIA. All right, NVIDIA is up on a price upgrade, I believe, from Morgan Stanley. Get above 130. Really, that's what you're looking for. You get above 130, you could target the 135 calls easily. I have the 150 calls, so I got a little more to go, but I still like it for higher. Again, held that support right here at the 20-day, was below it for a couple of days, and then bounced. Again, we'll see if we can get that push. Worst case scenario, if we get that push and let's say the 150s don't work out, we'll see if we could play the run up in between it. So again, if we get above 130, I'm okay with going for the 135 calls and see if we can squeeze out this juice by the end of the week because of the seasonality. Again, we're not overbought at all on NVIDIA. So we're at a 57 RSI. So I believe we have more to go for the chip maker that's taken a bunch of profits. Again, it's nice to see it pull back a little bit. All right, so that's where we are. AMD starting to move. Let's see if 175 holds. Palantir was near 28. NVIDIA is up about nearly $1.50, we'll say, today. So I went ahead and posted as well the pre-market plan for options members. So you guys are always ready to go before the opening bell. So broke it down here. Live market blog, all this good stuff. Make sure to join. Scrolling at the bottom is how to join the live market blog. I forgot to turn it on. Sorry. But that's where we are this morning. Make sure to check out our last video. Again, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Have a great rest of your morning and day. I will see you guys tomorrow for the next morning note on YouTube. And until then, I will be on the live market blog and Discord. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you later. Cheers.